And we're live. What's up, sports fans? DFS Pop back here. Matt and Ryan ready to talk over what can only be described as one of the more boring games of the year, potentially. I know neither of us is sitting on the edge of our seat for this one, but we got DFS, which can make it interesting.
I'll say this. It sets up to be a boring game. Doesn't mean it will be a boring game. You just never know.
It'll be a boring game, Matt. Why? Because even if it's close, nobody gives a shit.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, this is one where I think we're actually rooting on the Jets because it's always fun to watch New England lose.
Yes, it is. No doubt about that.
You know, and as much as I hate the Patriots just because I'm sick of them, I do got to give them credit for this. Every Super Bowl they gave us was exciting, except for the Rams one, because even though it was close, it was super boring.
Oh, awful Super Bowl there. But yeah, I mean, just to be in it so many years, you got to give them their respect, no doubt about it.
Oh, I respect them, but you can respect somebody and be bored by them too. And that's how I mean, we're all a little like worn out of New England at this point. So when Tom Brady decided to go down to Tampa Bay and ruin that team, just kidding, Tom. It was nice to just see like a changing in the guard in the AFC. It looks like it could be my homeboys' time for a while, though.
For sure.
All right, guys. So brought it up on the cash review line or video as well. If you want the NFL package today, we will run a $15 off sale. Quite simply, go buy it. I'll send you your $15 right back. Otherwise, if you want to pay manually for $54, there's a Venmo and PayPal address below. What you get's the rest of the season, right? We get everything that we do: primetime, showdown videos, main slate, GPP, cast, personal questions, all that. $54 today. Come get in with the DFS 5-pack crew. We are back to had a little bit of a rough year, but this year's been going well. I know it's much easier to track the win-loss percentages of cash game players because you play one lineup. But a lot of the customers are 6-3, 7-2 right now. We've definitely had some few GPP wins to add into the mix. So having a nice season lately. And if you want to come join the team, we would love to have you.
We sure would. And NBA is starting sooner rather than later, which is a good thing.
Absolutely it is. All right, guys. And, of course, got to bring up show sponsor Overlay. I talk about my favorite thing is the matchup shop. And what I love about the matchup shop is I know exactly who I'm rooting for and exactly who I'm rooting against. I was pissed yesterday when the Cardinals missed that field goal and there was no chance on overtime because Chase Edmonds was closing in on Josh Jacobs. Very likely could have gotten there in overtime. But even though I took the L on that one, it was fun. It was exciting. I knew what I was rooting for. And in a game where I know you, me, and most of you guys listening, we usually have like 2 feet in every single fire. I do enjoy being able to know exactly what I want to happen.
Yeah, you got to love that part about it. No doubt about it.
All right, guys. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Thumbs up is always appreciated. For those of you guys who press that every day, it does mean a lot to us. So thank you very much. Let's start like we always do with every Showdown video. Let's go to the KISS pick of the day. Occam's razor, major chalk. Cam the Spam Newton right here. Projected to be the most popular captain, the most popular player on this slate. This is a duh play if we've ever had one. This slate lacks good quality players, so just get Cam Newton in your lineup. If you want to be different, maybe don't play him in the captain spot.
Yeah, sorry, got a little issue out there. The dogs are apparently not a fan of Cam Newton tonight. I don't know what their problem is, but yeah, man. Listen, Cam's in a good spot tonight, and it's not even about Cam. It's about the other guys, in this game and how there's really no one. Sorry, that is really distracting me. It's about how there just aren't any good plays in this game. You look up and down the showdown lineup, the showdown options here. Who else are you going to play if you don't roster Cam here? Like, how is this game going to play out where Cam is not in the optimal line? It's tough to see a situation where that happens.
Yeah, no arguments here. All right, moving on down the list. One of the other more popular plays on the slate is going to be the Patriots defense. So Matt and I did a deep dive this morning. Like, I'm talking like major statistical breakdown. And according to our analytics, the Jets offense is below average. What do you think about that?
I agree.
Okay. All right. We agree on that one. We don't always agree on everything, but we agree. And even though I wrote Jets D, it's because I had something else in my mind. The Jets offense is well below average. I know it. You know it. Everybody watching this knows that. So the Patriots D, even though it's expensive, it's partly also a byproduct of what you just mentioned. There's not a lot of really good plays on the slate. So knowing how bad the Jets offense is and that, Joe Flacco moves the needle absolutely none, expect the Patriots defense to get plenty of love. Like, I'm running a Twitter poll right now. And at last check, we were a little over 50 votes. And the Patriots D comes in second place with most captain, obviously after Cam Newton. So they're going to be relatively high owned by defensive standards. I don't think they're a must or anything like that. But on a slate like this, where very few plays are going to excite you, I get why a Patriots defense makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so now that I got the dog calmed down behind me, I can kind of relax my thoughts a little bit. And the Patriots D kind of falls into the line with the same points about Cam. There just aren't any good plays on this slate. A big part of that is because the Jets suck. They don't really have any good offensive options. And then the Patriots don't have many good offensive options either outside of Cam and, another guy we're going to get to that we like. But it makes the Patriots D stand out. They're definitely not the D that we've seen of years past, but the Jets offense is that bad. This is an upside spot for the Patriots. Hard not to like them here. You need, especially if you're thinking about captaining them in tournaments, you need like a touchdown in order for that to work. But not crazy to think that happens tonight.
Yeah, also just because we don't expect great scores out of a lot of other players. Again, I'm not like excited about the Patriots defense for the point you just mentioned. They're not as good as they used to be. No Gilmore again tonight. A lot of their best players opted out this season, so they're not as good as they were in prior seasons. However, the Jets are one of the historically worst offenses that we have ever seen. They have, next to no players to move the needle. For some reason, they still run Frank Gore 10 to 15 times a game, which makes sense to basically nobody except for maybe Frank Gore. That's really what it comes down to right here is I'll take Belichick putting together a game plan to stop one of the worst offenses we've ever seen.
Probably doesn't even make sense to Frank Gore.
Frank Gore probably goes home at night and talks to his wife and kids if that's what he has at home. Like, I don't know why they keep playing me, but, Adam Gase ain't the brightest bulb in the bunch.
Yeah, right. Yes.
All right. So let's talk about the Patriots running back situation overall. So in our minds, we kind of expect this to be a boring, not very climactic game. I mentioned early in one of the videos, I kind of picture like the Patriots winning this game, like, I don't know, 20-9 or something like that. It's just not exciting. And we kind of think that they want to run the ball tonight. So Damian Harris is listed as questionable. That tag does appear to be more of a formality, but of course it's the Patriots, so check in on this one later tonight. And the point that you brought up on the members-only video that I completely slept on was it is possible Sony Michel gets activated tonight. So this is one that, early in the day, we got nothing to go off of right here. I would continue to watch the reports, obviously look 90 minutes before game time to see who's active. And how you approach the running back situation for the Patriots is going to, be a lot to do with if Sony Michel is in or out there. And also, is he playing or is he active or is he actually going to play? Look for the best information you can before making this decision. But like if Michel doesn't play tonight and Harris's full system is going, I got a ton of interest.
Yeah, I do too, man. I think his price tag keeps people off him because there aren't a lot of good players in this game, and the ones that are appealing to play are expensive. So Harris is gonna, fall under the radar. I think, especially if and when Crowder plays. We've already talked about how popular Cam's gonna be. Sony Michel being in, like I think you bring up a good point. Even if he's in, that doesn't mean that he's going to be playing here. Like, I think Harris becomes even sneakier in tournaments if Michel is in. He's more of a cash game play. I like him a lot regardless. I think that, Michel is doubtful to have a big workload regardless. If he's in getting touches, that does take away Harris, though. So something to kind of just keep your eye on for the rest of the day.
Absolutely. Moving on down the list, let's talk about the Jets defense for a second. So they're a fraction of the price, well, about half the price of the Patriots defense, and they're probably not as good as the Patriots defense. However, I want to bring up the last point. If you watch the Jets play, their defense is not as pathetic as the numbers say. One of the byproducts of the Jets defense, if numbers looking so bad, is they are literally always on the field because the offense cannot sustain any drives. However, I could see this game being extremely boring, and I think the Jets defense, quite frankly, has got an opportunity to be maybe the third or fourth highest scoring position on the Jets today. Like I could picture one of the receivers beating them, maybe one of the running backs or the quarterback, but I'm not at all surprised if the Jets roll into 8-9 defensive points here. Cam's got plenty of fumbles and plenty of interceptions this season, and I think they could be all right at $4,000. You have to roster somebody from the Jets. I don't hate the idea of their defense. It's probably not going to get a ton of love.
Same. Again, you brought up a couple really good points. The other point I'll bring up, and I didn't even talk about this in the members only, kind of an out there thought. Like if you're using the Patriots D, especially if you're like captaining them, then you're hoping for a score. That doesn't hurt the Jets D at all. Like So, you can have the best of both worlds there. And if somehow the Jets get up in this game, like then you have Cam Newton throwing. I mean, we've definitely seen Cam Newton turn the ball over. And again, this isn't a spot where like we'd be looking to play the Jets D on a normal slate, but it's not a normal slate. And again, you do have to roster a Jets player. They're cheap.
This is true. Sometimes you just, because in these showdown slates, you have to roster one person from this team. Like, you just take the least of the evils. And I could definitely see the Jets. Like, I was talking about Perryman and like a couple other Jets guys. Like, none of these dudes excite me. And if the Jets score 7 points defensively, it's nothing special, but that could easily outscore maybe all but one of their wide receivers.
I'm with you.
All right, last up, Sergio Castillo. More than anything, I wanted to talk about the kicking game because we got into a longer discussion than normal on this one. First off, one point we talked about in the members-only video that I think we agreed on wholeheartedly is I'm not surprised if this game turns into a field goal kicking contest. Both teams have a little success moving between the 20s, stall out in the red zone. Patriots win the game, I don't know, 23-9 or 16-6 or something like that. Not super exciting, but half the points come via the field goal. Well, Nick Folk is listed as questionable, and their normal kicker Ficken is doubtful, so you have to assume Sergio Castillo is the guy again. I mean, I could easily see the Jets scoring 9 points tonight on 3 field goals, and their kicker is like the second highest scoring player they have.
Yeah, is Folk's on New England though now, right?
Yeah, so the other point that we addressed with that is you have to watch the New England kicker situation as well because seems to be truly questionable. That is another reason to look at the Jets kicker because if he's out there, we don't know that he's not just out there for emergencies. I mean, we've both watched a ton of NFL in our life. You've seen this multiple occasions where a kicker plays as questionable, but they only use them if they need them. Like maybe they go for 2-pointers or they only kick extra points and don't go for longer field goals and stuff like that.
I didn't even think that's a great point. If you're deciding between kickers, like let's say not just that, like, you're dead set on, rostering Folk if he plays for New England, but you just want a kicker, I'd definitely be leaning towards Castillo for all the points you just mentioned. I mean, listen, New England will probably score more points than the Jets in this game, but we don't know what Folk is here. And that question mark looms. I'm with you 100%.
If the Patriots kicker was 100% healthy, I would actually really, really want to roster him. Also, if you get like updates pregame and they're like, nope, he's fine, then yes, I would like the Patriots kicker.
Agreed. We're making this video at 2 Eastern, so stuff will change.
Yeah, this is one where while we don't have, because we both think Harris and Crowder are going to play, there aren't like major moves. Like we're not waiting to find out like next week Christian McCaffrey's catching the ball. Like how you use the running back situation in Carolina is going to be huge, right? We don't have any game-changing guys like that. But the kicker, again, the availability of Crowder, Sony Michel, and stuff like that, there are small outlying factors you're going to have to watch today.
100%.
So that's it, guys. This is not the most beautiful game. We talked for a while on members only. I was really disappointed by last night's game because I was kind of excited to watch what I thought were, two of the better teams in the NFC go after another. Well, one team was really good and the other team wasn't. This one doesn't pair up to be any more exciting, but at least it might be more competitive.
For shizzle.
It'd be hard to be less competitive.
Yeah, it would be very hard.
So that's it, guys. We appreciate you all watching. If you can click the thumbs up button, would love for you guys to do that. Also, if you guys got any thoughts about who you would play tonight, we'd love to hear them in the comment section. Have a great Monday and best of luck on this showdown slate.
Thanks, guys.